Good afternoon. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We got another reaction to you coming today. This time, the fastest canceled show ever on Cartoon Network. I have no idea what we're walking into. Let's not waste any time. Hope you guys enjoy. If you do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend. I really appreciate it. It means every bit in supporting me. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's go ahead and hop in.
Of 2010, Cartoon Network would premiere a new show on their channel.
Okay.
3 months later, that brand new show would come to an end in January of 2011.
3 months later.
A total of 10 episodes, each with
Dang.
an 11-minute runtime before it would be canceled, giving this show the illustrious title of Cartoon Network's shortest.
Only 11 minutes
The
per
show that would produce the least amount of episodes for the
Robotomy?
network was Robotomy. Or Robotomy, or whatever you want to call it.
Robotomy.
Set upon
Interesting.
a planet inhabited by violent killer robots called Insanius.
I don't even
two
remember
robot
this.
friends, Blastus and Thrasher must navigate their high school lives. The story
I don't
as to
know
how
why
the
I
show
don't
got
remember
so
this,
doomed from
but
the beginning is
I
actually pretty
do not
interesting.
remember
The
this at all.
reasons why it was greenlit and the reasons it failed is also equally as interesting. So grab a can of your favorite motor oil as we cover this minuscule rise and tremendous fall of the surprisingly graphic and mature, action-packed Cartoon Network forgotten series, Robotomy. Or Robotomy.
It really seems like there's too much going on in each one of these clips. It really seems like there's just way too much going on.
Our main characters are Thrasher and Blastus. They're both very similar to normal high school human students. They crave affection from their crushes and try to avoid being killed off for their humane qualities. You know, typical high school
Interesting.
stuff. Thrasher is the taller of the two. He is voiced by Patton Oswalt. Yeah, that Remy Rat fella from Ratatouille. Thrasher is the main protagonist and is more apathetic compared to Blastus. But then again, 'tis the angsty and
I don't know about you
self-absorbed
guys. I
protagonist.
love the
Throughout
movie
series, he
Ratatouille.
is constantly chasing his crush, Mamie, using this as the
It's
primary motivation
definitely
for
on the
actions throughout the
higher
series.
end of my
Blastus, on the other hand, is
movies
much more empathetic, but is motivated by popularity,
for
resulting in
kids,
him
at
being
least.
the more outgoing one whose
Even for
schemes
adults, it
don't
can still be
always
pretty
work
good.
out as he has planned. Voiced by John Gemberling, the two of them often argue and act more like brothers than best friends, to be honest. But they manage to both make it out of dangerous situations just by the skin of their robot teeth. Do robots have teeth? Or skin? It's just all metal.
They definitely
right? So
don't
will their
have-
teeth be
I mean, they
considered
could-
krill? These
they
are the
could
important
have
questions that no one is
teeth, I
asking.
guess.
Along with our two main leads, there are some
They definitely don't
big
have
cast
skin.
lists,
I don't think.
including Kate McKinnon, Dana Snyder,
I mean, they.
Jack McBrayer, and even
I mean,
old
depending
John
on how
from
they're
2
made, I
episodes
guess
ago.
some of the
The
metal
idea for
could
the
be
show
like
came
skin,
about in a
because like
comical way. The
if you look at
creators
like
of the
from
show,
Star
Michael
Wars,
Buckley and Joe
C-3PO,
Beasley, were
he's kind
approached
of
by
like
Cartoon Network
inner,
to
and then he
produce
has
the
his
show,
outer
and they pitched
skin,
dozens
I
of
guess.
ideas month after
And then
month.
like
Each idea the executives were just
R2
not
and a
fans of. So
sword.
in a
Well, not.
frustrating
I don't know.
last-ditch effort to
I don't
just
know.
get them off their backs, they created an idea that they were approaching from a different mindset. From there, they came up with this idea for a violent show focused on killer robots in high school. And surprise, surprise, they loved it. They wanted to capture the combination of Superbad, Transformers, and the WWE all in one show. And that sounds freaking awesome. They purposefully made it heavy on violence and
Interesting.
easily upfronting. But the network greenlit the show, and so we have what we know today as Robotomy. Robotomy. We don't have a lot of
It's
it, but we
Robotomy,
sure do
I think.
have what we do have, that super bad feeling.
We're gonna
is
go with that
surely
one.
there with these two robots. They stand out from the murderous shenanigans that litter their peers by, just like in Superbad, having a through-line plot of gaining the affection of a female robot, or to be kind of popular. It has a level of fun to it that I can appreciate because it feels like it's playing outside of the rules for traditional programming, at least on a kid's network. But it is clear to see that the show, while trying to apply its reach to several demographics, that it unfortunately ended up capturing none of them.
I'm sorry. My friend got carried away with crazy promises.
Robotomy. New series premieres next.
Interesting. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember anything about the show. I don't remember ever hearing anything about when it came out. I don't know. You guys let me know. Let me know if you guys remember this show at all.
On the the surface, cancellation would seem pretty obvious, based on the show feeling a bit too mature for regular Cartoon Network, and appearing more fitting for the Adult Swim content block. There's no explicitly mature themes, but there's definitely a ton of implicit mature content. It plays along an unspoken thin line where it's a bit much for younger viewers, but not crude enough to be considered for an older audience. They still made edgier jokes or references, but conveniently cut each other off before the actual mature word or concept was expanded upon. These jokes were definitely going over the heads of any kid under the age of 12, which means that the general appeal to a younger audience just wasn't very strong. Unless you just like robots and the wacky visuals on the screen, there may not have been much there to attach onto at a younger age. In an MTV interview, one of the co-producers, World Leaders Entertainment, who worked with Cartoon Network, stated, "The way Cartoon Network has blended its Adult Swim identity, look, feel, attitude, etc., with its core kid programming is totally brilliant to us. As you can tell, Robotomy is very much a partnership between the network's kids side and Adult Swim." Wow, where can any of that go wrong? But I mean, technically they're not wrong. They definitely did achieve some sort of partnership between the regular Cartoon Network content and Adult Swim, but there's a reason that these two are separate to begin with. It's just not going to work if you try to appeal to all audiences when you're relying on the mature themes in the first place. They certainly did try to make a show that skewed older, but was also appealing to a younger age range. But at that point, it was 75% Adult Swim and 25% Cartoon Network. The show would most likely have had much more success airing during Adult Swim due to it prioritizing.
Yeah, I would have automatically assumed that it was like on Adult Swim.
Basically non-existent. While Canada did air this show on Cartoon Network, any other network did not want anything to do with this show due to its maturity and violence. Another reason why the show was canceled can be attributed to the high production budget.
Well, that would make
The
sense.
animation team is also the team that worked on Chowder, and the animation itself is heavily action-oriented. There's a lot going on at all times, and you can tell that the animation team is heavily talented because the art style is very impressive. It tends to stick to a minimal color palette, very heavy on the darker yellows, reddish browns, and the desaturated blues and greens, with metallic textures and a gritty feel to each shot. The style feels very cohesive and establishes the setting very well. It's kind of perfect for an apocalyptic planet. But then again, there's not a ton of variety in each episode. Inspired by the works of Paul Klee, a Swiss
I did kind of
and
like the
Kazuo
animation
Kono,
for
a
it
Japanese
looked
manga,
pretty interesting
the show
actually.
was going for a bold, fresh look, one that would mirror the universe, so this influenced their decision to mute the initial color palette to refocus the viewers to the style of their line work. When there is a pop of color thrown in, the fluorescent inspirations do jump out even more thanks to the show in general's looks. So I get why there is less of it in the show. Less is more and is more effective when doing so. I just personally love bright splashes of color, so when it's not in the show for a majority of it, it maybe could have done with a little bit more of it. You know, contrast the whole murderous robot thing. Online, there are a lot of connections drawn to whatever happened to Robot Jones, which I covered a little while back here on the channel. It was another Cartoon Network show from the early 2000s, and yeah, in general, it's true. The base subject of attending school and the trying to fit in of a robot is definitely something that the two shows have in common, but I feel the main similarities lie in the art design and the setting of the characters. They both heavily feature bold outlines and detailed work. The general design of robots and Robotomy or Robotussin is very obviously heavily influenced by the rise of robotics and computer intelligence of the 80s. Clunky
I'm trying to
metals,
think
very
what other
shiny,
movies,
great
or
colors. It's
not
very
movies,
different
TV
from
shows
Robot
have done a
Think
good job
Wall-E versus Eva.
blending
Both Robot
robots
Jones and Robotussin
and
draw inspiration from a pre-modern
going to
robotic
school.
design. While the cartoon was pretty much ignored by Cartoon Network after its cancellation, it was available on Netflix until 20.
Like, it happens a lot with,
Even
like,
reruns aired on Cartoon Planet for a year in 20.
aliens going to
However,
school,
the network did give a little
but
nod of acknowledgement in its
not really
crossover Nexus
robots.
episode of OKKO Let's Be Heroes, where Blastus makes a fleeting appearance in the background. But then again, is there any show that they didn't reference in this episode? So overall, crumbs. They're giving the show crumbs.
Next, Robotomy.
That was pretty
Overall,
interesting.
the general concept is an interesting topic to cover for a cartoon, and it had potential to
Oh,
touch
there's
on
more.
some interesting
Here we go.
topics if it were given more freedom from the network to tackle less kid-friendly subjects. Personally, I love the idea of a dystopian and inhuman planet where robots have traditional structures like schooling and obviously feel human-like emotions such as love, anger, fear, and pride, but Robotomy uses it as more of a plot device, ensuring absurdist plot points for a laugh. Shows like BoJack Horseman are centered around core mortal fears like death, disappointment, existentialism, and more. There could be room to look into all of this for an
BoJack
actual
Horseman's
serious
hilarious.
topic and still
Actually,
making
that's a
it
good show.
fun. And I do appreciate a good comedy, but I feel like it has to feel deserved, and there has to be a bit of clarity in the chaos, or else everything just feels aimless and lost. I would have loved to see the show go in a direction that tackles these themes with a more intelligent approach. Not to say that the show isn't intelligent, it just felt lacking when it came to the nuance of it all. The writers are clearly witty and had the potential to make more of an interesting statement about this backwards world where leaders choose to blow their
That
budgets
looks
on
crazy.
explosives as opposed to textbooks. Despite
It
being
looked like
forced to go to
actual, like,
school
space
every day,
monster.
both teachers, students, and world leaders all agree on the insignificance
Like
of education
tentacles
on
and
their
stuff.
planet. All in all, it had a lot of potential, but was just in the wrong place with an underdeveloped idea and possibly at the wrong time. Today, a show like this could do great and have the time to
Robo
flesh
baby.
out its original point.
I
It would
guess.
just need to decide which part of the audience demographic it needs to aim for. If you want to go for that Superbad feel, lean into the absurdity of it. Go into the more mature themes and make it for adults. And why does Cartoon Network have such a weird love-hate relationship with robot shows? I feel on the channel we have covered so many of them, and every time one robot show was canceled, another would come around, then be canceled, and then another would come around. Cartoon Network, most of these robot shows are great. You're just not giving them enough time to shine, or you're having them come out at the wrong time, or in this case, releasing it on the wrong programming block on your own network. But cheers to the next robot show, and presumptive sorry for its
True, that one
cancellation. What are your
deserved
thoughts on this?
late
Did
night
you
and make it a
see
little
or
bit
know about
more,
this show?
more
And if you
mature.
Did you enjoy it? And if you do need
That'd
a
be
refresher,
perfect.
it's a really approachable series with a total runtime of under 2 hours. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe with notifications on for more content like this, or I'll cancel all your internet. Follow me on Twitter.
Interesting.
And I'll be back with another video
Might
soon.
have to
Later.
go watch Robotomy. Yeah, a lot of that was new to me. I hope you guys enjoyed though. Let me know if you remembered watching that when it originally came out. I have no idea. I don't remember it at all. But let me know if you guys do. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.